Welcome to day 2 of putting up the hoop house.
Woohoo! We're back. We've already got on the job. Forgot to do the intro for the morning.
They don't know that.
That's okay. We just had 3 T-posts to pound in, and Brady pounded those in like a champ. So he told me I could do the last one. I said, well, we do want to get done today, don't we? So anyway, yeah, so we got the T-posts there. That's all in. We just have to screw those last 3 in, and then we're going to start putting on the cattle panels.
Exciting stuff.
Yep. We're ready to put the cattle panels on, and so what we're going to do is we're going to take the first cattle panel and just set it up and tack it in place so that we see our hoop dimensions, because we weren't exact as to what that was going to be. Looked at some things online, but so we knew approximately what it'd be. We knew these would be a little tall, but what we're going to do is we'll mark it then. Once we get our hoop the way we want it, we'll mark on these boards where the top of the cattle panels will be, and we can cut those off then, and then when the hoop goes over the top of it, we can secure those down. And we may even have to adjust the height of our doorway, which is okay. We got some space there. You saw Brady going through it. He still had, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches or something like that. So we got some space. So let's check that out. So the way we're going to attach the hoop house onto our rails here is with these fence staples. And so we'll take this panel and we'll bend it up, and the end of the panel here will be sitting along the edge here, and then we'll use these staples to staple that down and hold it in place. So when we're first doing this here, we're just going to put a couple of these in just to hold it in place while we get our measurements and all for that doorway. So I just wanted to make sure that it's tall enough for us to walk in. So we got plenty of height here, and then, I mean, I can walk clear over to here. So if we have tables or whatever for storing stuff on, our tools and all, we'll be able to access that without it hitting our heads. Mostly.
The shorter ones of us will.
But yeah, I mean, the tables we have are, this wide. So you'll only be going to like here.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be perfect.
Sweet.
And I think you're right as far as the door. I don't think we'll have to change the doorway at all. We just need to even that out just like that, and boom. I'm bummed. We're just tacking the top of this up, and this is all perfect. It looks beautiful. Angle was cut perfectly. The hoop rides on it perfectly. But when I'm up there, I suddenly realized I forgot something in order to finish this hoop house. We can't put the plastic on until we have some foam tubing that you can cut and then put around the edges of this, so that you don't, because these are sharp edges right here, and then plus where the wood is, I mean, it's a little bit sharp, but mainly along these edges here, it's sharp. If we put that greenhouse plastic on now without that protection of a foam padding along here, it's just going to tear. So we can't do that. We can go ahead and finish the hoop house other than the greenhouse, or other than the greenhouse plastic, and then we're going to have to hold off, finish it off until later, until we get that foam.
We can't just run to a store real quickly and grab some?
Yeah, I'll just run over to the Home Depot. Well, we could run, depending upon how quickly we sound. I guess we could run over to Delta, which is an hour away, and get some. That stinks, but we could do that.
Well,
maybe we will.
we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes today. So, bummer.
All right, folks. Once again, I'm left over here working by myself while Clint's off doing what, you ask? Oh, he's just standing around talking to people. That's it. While I'm over here busting my hump to build this hoop house. It's ridiculous. No, in actuality, he's talking to the well diggers. They just had some questions about how we wanted the pump and generator set up and stuff like that. So he's technically working. That's a very loose interpretation of technical, and an even more loose interpretation of working.
Well, we're down to the last hoop, or last cattle panel to put up, and we're going to have to modify that cattle panel because it's longer than needs to be. If every cattle panel was exactly 50 inches like it says it's supposed to be, it would have been perfect. So Brady came up with the idea to cut these ends off, and then it would allow us to be able to just tuck the metal up underneath here, so we wouldn't have see how that's just tucked underneath. And now we've got a nice clean connection here. We can adjust down here to the I'm having to hold the cattle panel at the same time, but we can just adjust this to the right length, which is almost is right now, and that will be perfect. Oh, then we just tighten up or tack down the top of the cattle panels there too, and we'll be good. Well, I think we should run to the quick shop and get a drink.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Run to the Maverick real quick and grab something.
Yeah, we probably will, but the reason is because we're now going to run into town to get some stuff that we forgot. Like I said,
Gotta get the foam tubing for the edges and twist ties to put the cattle panels together, or zip ties.
Zip ties,
twist ties, little bread twist ties.
Yeah, so we can zip tie these together so they're all staying in the same form, and that better be it.
Well, if it's not, we better remember before we get there.
Yeah, so quick run to Delta. We'll be back in just a minute.
Well, we made it back from Delta. We got our pool noodles. We're ready to put them around the edges of the hoop house to keep them from breaking the greenhouse plastic. And we're gonna get at it. Let's go.
I don't think those pool noodles will allow you to float, Brady.
You got enough of them. I think that will.
I think you might need about 50 of them around you.
Only one way to find out.
So, not pool noodles. These are pipe insulation. Yeah, they're split on one side, so we can wrap that around the cattle panel ends to protect it from when we put the greenhouse plastic. It'll protect the greenhouse plastic from being torn.
I already said that.
I couldn't tell because I was trying to get out from behind you.
He was messing around.
I was messing around. Anyway, so we're doing that. And did you mention what else we're doing? Nope. Zip tying the cattle panels. Well, we got to zip tie these on, but then we got to zip tie the cattle panels together in position so they're all flush and even and all that too. So that's the next step.
As you can see, the sidewalls here of the hoop house are bowing out slightly. And when we wrap it in the greenhouse film, we want to have it be the shape it's supposed to be. So that we can properly tighten the greenhouse wrap on it and everything. So what we're going to do is doctor together some 2x4s to act as a brace that we're then going to attach across the middle of the hoop house and use that to pull the walls in until they're where they're supposed to be, and then we can wrap it.
If this was a permanent structure, we would have gone ahead and put holes in the ground, put 4x4s down, cement them in, so everything would stay straight. But this is not a permanent structure. I fully anticipate this will be moved at some point or completely dismantled at some point. So we've just used the T-posts. Well, the T-posts aren't strong enough to hold it. And so, yeah, by supporting it in the middle right now, we can get everything set up, and then we're going to put supports from the outside to hold it, so we won't have to have those supports in the middle of the hoop house.
Look at that sunset. That's not too bad.
Yeah. It's a little dusty.
A little dusty. The sky's looking pretty. Mountains are dusty. They were looking really pretty. Oh, the mountains down here, covered in dust. Can't see them.
Can't see the snow-covered ones down there.
All right, but let's take a look inside the hoop house.
Woohoo!
Look at that.
Look at that.
It's a structure, and you can totally tell. Need a door to just.
Yeah.
So I thought we were going to do more, but the sun is setting.
Yeah. And we just have well, no, we got to do a little more framing next. And in here, we've got framing to do here and here and a little bit down at the other end. And so we got to do that before we can actually put the plastic on. But we're close. Pretty excited. Looks good. It's going to be a perfect storage room.